My tongue-tied muse in manner هذا كله اسم holds her still, while comments of praise richly compiled reserve their character with golden quill and precious phrase by all the muses filed. I think good thoughts, whilst other write good words, and like unlettered clerk still cry amen to every hymn that able spirit affords in polished form of well-refined pen. Hearing you praise, I say, 'tis so, 'tis true, and to the most of praise add something more, but that is in my thought, whose love to you the words come hindmost, holds his rank before than others, for the breath of words respect me for my dumb thoughts speaking in effect. Was it the proud full sail of his great verse, bound for the prize of all too precious you, that did my ripe thoughts in my brain in hers, making their tomb the womb therein they grew? Was it his spirit by spirits taught to ride above a mortal pitch that struck me dead? No, neither he nor his compeers by night, giving him aid, my verse astonished he, nor that affable familiar ghost which nightly gulls him with intelligence. As victors of my silence cannot boast, I was not sick of any fear from thence, but when your countenance filled up his line, then lacked I matter that enfeebled mine. Farewell, thou art too dear for my possessing. Alike enough thou notes thy estimate. The character of thy worth gives thee releasing. My bonds in thee are all determinate. For how do I hold thee but by thy granting? And for that riches where is my deserving? The cause of this fair gift in me is wanting, and so my parent back again is swerving. Thyself thou gavest thy own worth, then not knowing or me to whom thou givest it, else mistaking. So thy great gift upon misprision growing comes here again, or better judgment making. Thus have I had thee as a dream doth flatter, in sleep a king, but making no such matter. When thou shalt be disposed to set me light, and place my merit in the eye of scorn, upon thy side against myself I'll fight, and prove thee virtuous, though thou art forsworn with mine own weakness. Being best acquainted upon thy part, I can set down a story of false concealed, wherein I am attainted, that thou in losing me shall win much glory, and I by this will be a gainer too, for bending all my loving thoughts on thee. The injuries that to myself I do, doing thee vantage, double vantage me, such is my love. To thee I so belong, that for thy right myself will bear all wrong. Say that thou didst forsake me for some fault, and I will comment upon that offense, speak of my lameness, and I straight will halt against thy reasons, making no defense. Thou canst not love disgrace me half so ill, to set a form upon desired, chained as I am myself. Disgrace knowing thy will, I will acquaintance strangle and look strange, be absent from thy walks, and in my tongue thy sweet beloved name no more shall dwell, lest I too much profane should do it wrong, and haply of our old acquaintance tell. For thee against myself I'll vow debate, for I must never love him whom thou dost hate. Then hate me when thou wilt, if ever now well the world is bent my deed to cross, join with the spite of fortune, make me bow, and do not drop in for an after loss. I do not, when my heart has escaped this sorrow, come in the reward of a conquered woe. Give not a windy night, a rainy morrow to linger out a purposed overthrow. If thou wilt leave me, do not leave me last, when other petty griefs have done their spite. But in the onset come, so shall I taste at first the very worst of fortune's might, and other strained of woe, which now seem woe, compared with the loss of thee will not seem so. Some glory in their birth, some in their skill, some in their wealth, some in their body's force, some in their garments, though newfangled ill, some in their hawks and hounds, some in their whores, and every humour hath his adjunct's pleasure, wherein it finds a joy above the rest, but these particulars are not my measure. All these I better in one general best. Thy love is better than high birth to me, richer than wealth, prouder than garments cost, of more delight than hawks or horses be. And having thee, of all men's pride I boast, wretched in this alone, that thou mayst take all this way, and me most wretched make. But do thy worst to steal thyself away, for term of life thou art assured mine, and life no longer than thy love will stay, for it depends upon that love of thine. Then need I not to fear the worst of wrongs, when the least of them my life hath end. I see a better state to me belongs, than that which on thy humour doth depend. Thou canst not vex me with inconstant mind, since that my life on thy revolt doth lie. Oh, what a happy title do I find, happy to have thy love, happy to die. But what so blessed fare that fears no blots? Thou mayst be false, and yet I know it not. So shall I live, supposing thou art true, like a deceived husband? So love's face may still seem love to me, thou altered new, thy looks with me, thy heart in other place. For there can live no hatred in thine eye, therefore in that I cannot know thy change. In many looks the false heart's history is writ in moods and frowns and wrinkles strange, but heaven in thy creation did decree that in thy face sweet love should ever dwell. Whatever thy thoughts or thy heart's workings be, thy looks should nothing thence but sweetness tell. How like Eve's apple doth thy beauty grow, and thy sweet virtue answer not thy show. They that have power to hurt, and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the beast's weed outbraves his dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. How sweet and lovely dost thou make the shame, which like a canker in the fragrant rose doth spot the beauty of thy budding name. Or in what sweets dost thou thy sins enclose, that tongue that tells the story of thy days, making lascivious comments on thy sport, cannot dispraise, but in a kind of praise, naming thy name blesses an ill report. O what a mansion have those vices got, which for their habitation choose out thee, where beauty's veil doth cover every blot, and all things turns to fair that eyes can see. Take heed, dear heart, of this large privilege. The hardest knife ill used doth lose his edge. Some say thy fault is youth, some wantonness. Some say thy grace is youth and gentle sport. Both grace and faults are loved of more and less. Thou makest faults graces that to thee resort, as on the finger of a throned queen. The basest jewel will be well esteemed. So are those errors that in thee are seen, to truths translated, and for true things deemed. How many lambs might the stern wolf betray, if like a lamb he could his looks translate? How many gazers mightst thou نانا نقدر ننطقها بطريقتين مختلفات. نقدر نقول lead ولد. lead مو مالت اسمه يعني lead نانا فعل ترى، تمام؟ مو عبالك رصاص، مو عنصر رصاص دير بالك. إذن lead اللي هو قاده يقود، هذا تمام؟ بال LEAD، يا أما led بالhead أو lead. William Shakespeare lead away يقصد، not led away. If thou wouldst use the strength of all thy state, but do not so, I love thee in such sort, as thou being mine is thy good report. How like a winter hath my absence been, from thee the pleasure of a fleeting year, What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn, big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burden of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me but hope of orphans and unfathered fruit. For summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute, or if they sing, 'tis with so dull a cheer that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near. From you have I been absent in the spring, and proud pied April, dressed in all his trim, hath put a spirit of youth in everything. That heavy Saturn laughed and leapt with him. Yet nor the lays of birds, nor the sweet smell of different flowers in odor and in hue could make me any summer's story tell, or from their proud lap pluck them where they grew. Nor did I wonder at the lilies white, nor praise the deep vermilion and the rose. They were but sweet, but figures of delight, drawn after you, you pattern of all those. Yet seem it winter still, and you away, as with your shadow I wish these did play. The ford violet thus did I chide, sweet thief, whence didst thou steal thy sweet that smells, if not from my love's breath, the purple pride which on thy soft cheek for complexion dwells, and my love's veins thou hast too grossly dyed. The lily I condemned for thy hand, and buds of marjoram had stolen thy hair. The roses fearfully on thorns did stand, one blushing shame, another white despair, a third nor red nor white had stolen of both, and to his robbery had annexed thy breath, but for his theft in pride of all his growth, a vengeful canker ate him up to death. More flowers I noted, yet I none could see, but sweet or color it had stolen from thee. Where art thou, Muse, that thou forgetst so long to speak of that which gives thee all thy might? Spend'st thou thy fury on some worthless song, darkening thy power to lend base subjects light? Return, forgetful Muse, and straight redeem in gentle numbers time so idly spent. Sing to the ear that doth thy lays esteem, and gives thy pen both skill and argument. Rise, rusty Muse, my love's sweet face survey. If time have any wrinkle graven there, if any be a satire to decay, and make time's spoiled despised everywhere, give my love fame faster than time's wastes life, so thou prevents his scythe and crooked knife. هنا ميوز واحد مو اميوز. هنا فعل او اسم هي ميوز بالزه. وطبعا اغلب ما يواجه المتعلمين اللي هو التفرقة ما بين شنو الأسئلة. طبعا إن شاء الله نسوي فيديو حول يعني بعض الكلمات باللغة الإنجليزية مو كلهن يعني اللي تنتهن بالأسي، هل أنطقهن س أو هل أنطقهن ز. هذا فيديو كلش مهم لأن هاي تعقيدات من الضروري أن تعرفوهم من الآن. طبعا إن شاء الله من بعد نخلص شكسبير قبل لا نبدأ ببعض الأشياء اللي أنا احتفظت بها قبل شهرين. سوي فيديو مركز مع النطق جدا مهم، عن النطق 3 مرات، ونقسم الكلمة. هل تختلف الفعل عن هل يختلف الفعل عن الاسم والصفة؟ مثلا عندك اميوز، هسه اميوز كلمة صفة، ما نقول عندك اميوس اسم. فهذا الفيديو كلش مهم، انتظروا ان شاء الله بعد الحلقة رقم 15 من حلقات شكسبير والسونيتات مالته.